Hey guys, Crypto Dad here again, and today I'm going to show you how to avoid address poisoning scams. So let's get started. So I've had some people in the comments bring up address poisoning scams, and there's a request here for me to make a video. So I thought I would just do a quick little overview of what address poisoning is and how to avoid this scam. All right, so the first thing is, what is an address poisoning attack? Well, it sounds scary, and the word attack makes it sound even more scary, but it's really more like junk mail than anything else. And the hope of the scammer is that you will be lazy and accidentally use the address from this transaction when you send crypto or receive crypto to your own wallet. So it's not really as scary as it sounds, right? So basically a scammer will send you a small amount of crypto or even an NFT into your wallet, and he's hoping that he or she is hoping that you'll use that previous transaction to grab your address when you're doing crypto transactions. So I have my MetaMask wallet open here, and if we go over to the activity, you can see incoming transactions. Now, I don't have any scammer transactions in here, but I'll give you what might occur. The scammer is hoping that his little micro transaction would be the last one that you got. So this is the last receive that I've got. I'm aware of it, but they're kind of hoping that you'll go in here and grab this one. So you can see this previous transaction here. It came into my wallet from this address. But what the scammer is going to do is create an address that looks very similar to yours. So you can see up here at the top, this is the address of my wallet, and this transaction is not similar, but a scammer can create an address that looks very similar to yours from the first several characters to the last several characters. Notice that MetaMask even cuts out the in-between characters in the interface. Now, this little blurb that I got isn't very accurate, because it says a scammer sends a user a small amount of crypto to a fake wallet address. Well, it's not a fake wallet address. They're sending it to me. So it should be from a fake wallet address, right? So they're going to send you a small transaction, hoping that you'll be lazy enough to grab your sending address from that transaction history. So let's break down some of the things that we can do to avoid losing crypto in this case. The first thing you need to be aware of is that just getting a random transaction into your wallet is not going to allow the scammer or hacker to simply reach into your wallet and steal your crypto. If crypto were like that, it wouldn't be very secure from the ground up, right? Sending someone a transaction on a public blockchain is not giving them access to the private keys of your wallet. You own the wallet, you own the private keys. Only the person with the private keys can send transactions out. That is why they're trying to trick you into doing it yourself. So just be aware that when you see microtransactions in your wallet, don't think that all of a sudden your wallet is suddenly at risk. That's not the case, right? Only if you take action can this scam be achieved. So there's a few ways that we can avoid actually sending crypto out to the attacker. The first thing you need to be aware of is just be vigilant and prevent this type of stuff by happening by being aware of what's going on in your wallet. Don't feel like your wallet is at risk because you're seeing incoming transactions. They are very common, especially on the alternate chains like Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, even Tron. They're starting to happen a little more with Ethereum because of the crypto bear market. The Ethereum fees are much lower now. So some of these are even occurring on the Ethereum blockchain, but generally you'll see them on the smaller blockchains. So basically just be aware in your transaction history when you get microtransactions. They're not going to hurt you, but you don't want to interact with them. So method one is just be aware of what's coming into your wallet and don't panic, right? Number two is just don't be lazy. When you're transferring crypto, always go through the proper procedures. Don't just grab addresses from previous transactions without thinking about it. Always go through the proper steps when you're sending crypto out. When you're in MetaMask, the easiest thing is to just grab the address from up here at the top of the wallet. I find that easier. I don't know why anyone would go into previous transactions to grab sending addresses or receiving addresses. If you want to send funds into your wallet, the proper way is to get the address from up here. Maybe some people are worried that since they can't see the entire address, they want to go into their previous addresses like this and, maybe grab it like that, which is fine if it's the incoming address. But you don't really have to worry about the fact that the entire address isn't displayed in your wallet interface. It's going to copy into your clipboard properly when you paste it, right? That's the full address. So just grab your wallet address properly and you should be fine. A lot of this applies in Ledger Live if you're using a Ledger device. You'll notice in my Polygon wallet that I have a bunch of NFT airdrops. These aren't necessarily address poisoning scams. These are NFT scams, which are a little bit different, but the same philosophy applies. Just don't interact with them. They're not going to hurt anything as long as you don't interact with them. If you want to get the address of your wallet in Ledger Live, the best thing to do is use the receive button. And it's even going to have you do a hardware check. When you have your device attached, it's going to do a hardware check before you generate an address. The address is going to show up on your device and you'll see it on your screen so you can double check to make sure that you've generated the proper address and not an address that looks very similar to yours. So with the Ledger and Trezor, you can do a hardware check to verify that the address is correct before you transfer crypto into the wallet. If you follow proper procedures, you're not going to get tricked by an address poisoning scam. And then the last thing that you can do to avoid address poisoning scams is be precise when you deal with cryptocurrency. Always do small test transactions. Now, if you're experienced like me and you've seen your address hundreds of times, then as long as you're careful, you may not need to always do a small test transaction. But when I'm sending crypto to somewhere that I've never sent it before, I always do small test transactions. If you're new and you're unsure of yourself, then it's best practice to do small test transactions. Even if you're transferring from one of your wallets to another one of your wallets, or from your wallet to an exchange, or from an exchange to your own wallet, do a small test transaction. Yes, you're going to pay a little extra in fees when you do small test transactions, but it's worth it. I've talked to a lot of people that have told me that, hey, I accidentally transferred $5,000 worth of this token to my wallet. It never showed up. I don't know what I did wrong. Can you help me? Well, you're not going to be in those situations if you do small test transactions first. If you do a small test and it goes somewhere and you're not sure where it went, then you've only lost $5 or $10 rather than $5,000. So do small test transactions with unfamiliar or first-time address transfers. So I hope I made it clear what a poisoning scam is. It sounds really scary, but it's not that difficult to avoid losing crypto with address poisoning scams. Basically, you just ignore incoming transactions, keep an eye on them, but don't interact with previous transactions. When you're sending transactions, always grab the address properly in the way the wallet is designed, or do hardware checks if you're using hardware devices. And then you can always do small test transactions if you're not sure of yourself. Make sure the crypto ends up exactly where you're trying to send it. And if you accidentally fall victim to something like this, where you're sending crypto to the wrong place, or even if you just want to double check your own legitimate transactions, small test transactions are always good ways to double check it's ending up where you expect it to end up. And if something goes awry, you're only losing small amounts when you do small tests. So I hope you found this video helpful and interesting. If you have any questions about anything I did, please throw them up in the comments and I'll do my best to get them answered. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me and hope to see you again soon.